Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? What is good, everybody? This is the September 13th, 2020 episode of the Boxing Source Radio Show. I am your host, James Bell, the lead boxing analyst for the Cold Hard Truth on Sports and the leader of the Boxing Source on social media. You can follow us on Instagram through the Boxing Source. We are also on Twitter at Boxing Source 2. And we also have the Instagram page through the Boxing Source. And yes, we're on Facebook too. So, um, number to dial in 347-237-5539. That is 347-237-5539. Press the one key to get on queue. You'll be able to talk live on the show. We have a guest that's coming on here fairly soon. There's been a repeat guest on the show, and hopefully they're able to bring someone along with them to speak through this particular podcast. So we'll see how that's going to work out. But also, this week, we've had a lot of activity going on over the past couple of days in reference to two particular fighters that hold the WBC title. Okay, so there's that. Now, you also, had some action on ESPN, the ESPN family of networks. On the previous week, you had Miguel Mariaga against Joey Gonzalez and Gidigis Kavaliauskas going up against Michael Zewski. And you did also have Anthony Yard taking on Dex Spellman. That was, the other day. So we'll be getting on to that as well, or at least touch on that a little bit. Plus other topics that have flooded the boxing waves, so to speak. So we do have that. But, wanted to see if I could touch on this real quick before the guest comes on. So you had the fight between Gidigis Kavaliauskas and Michael Zewski. Of course, Kavaliauskas coming off the TKO loss to Terrence Crawford for that WBO welterweight title. And on the flip side, you have Michael Zewski, who only had one loss back in 2015 and had those string of wins since. So that's pretty much what the main event there was. And you had it where was good little scrap between those two fighters. Very close as far as like up to that eighth round. But Kavaliauskas ended up getting the win by eighth round TKO. The scores had it, Tim Sheatham had it 67-65. And Patricia Morse-Jarman had it 67-65 for Michael Zewski, and Steve Weisfeld had it 67-65 for Kavaliauskas. So that showed like how the scores were up to that particular point. Even with Michael Zewski being down on the canvas in round 7. So after that, and then being down in round 8, that's when referee Kenny Bayless there was able to call it a stoppage victory for Gidigis Kavaliauskas, who is now 21-1-1 here, while Michael Zewski suffers the second loss of his career, this first one by knockout. So Kavaliauskas puts himself like back into the I would say the higher part of the WBO rankings. He does have a minor welterweight title, um, there, and well, actually two minor titles, Continental Americas and the NABO welterweight championship. So that's what Kavaliauskas currently has at this particular point. We'll see what would be next up if he has something to the point of where he'll be, contending for a world title once again. And then, also as part of that event, co-feature bout, or you had the thing with Miguel Mariaga and Joet Gonzalez. Joet Gonzalez was a former WBO featherweight championship contender, but lost to Shakur Stevenson for that title. This is his ex bout against Miguel Mariaga, who was originally slated to fight Shakur Stevenson at the theater in Madison Square Garden in March, but that was just when everything, quote unquote, shut down. So no sports, none of that type stuff. When it came to, large events. So you had Miguel Mariaga there going up against Joey Gonzalez, and it was, to me, it was kind of a little, I would say, a little bit of a surprise to a certain extent. I thought Mariaga would have, been able to, get this. I mean, he had his last loss, Miguel Mariaga's last loss to Vasily Lomachenko at super featherweight. It was a string of two losses. He fought Oscar Valdez and he fought Vasily Lomachenko, but he was able to get KOs or stoppages since. So that's been, what's been, what was happening there with Miguel Mariaga up to this particular point. And he had those stoppage victories, and it looked like he may have been trying to, get on his way up to, maybe being a contender at featherweight once again. Here going up against, like I said, Joey Gonzalez, who had that loss to Shakur Stevenson by unanimous decision, last year. So, I mean, I thought it would be like a, bout that Mariaga would be able to take. I thought I didn't really think that Gonzalez was, all that impressive against Shakur Stevenson. I thought Mariaga being the, more battle tested fighter, that he would, be able to work, Joey Gonzalez, but that wasn't the case here, as you had, Joey Gonzalez pretty much almost get a near shutout victory on two cards, with Meridian Weisfeld scoring at 99-91 and Alicia Joppa scored at 97-93. So Joey Gonzalez gets the unanimous decision victory there, and I guess puts himself back in the conversation for that WBO featherweight championship. I mean, they're trying to arrange that featherweight championship to be fought for within Top Rank, as it was vacated by Shakur Stevenson. So you have the, former super bantamweight champion, Manuel Navarrete, moving up there, and is the number one contender. Jesse Magdaleno was, there as a high ranked contender, but declined to be on there, to fight Emmanuel Navarrete. So it's like they're trying to, have that fight for the vacant WBO title so they're working out a deal with Emmanuel Navarrete and the next highest ranked contender available for that, fight to happen. So, but this thing here with Mariaga and Joey Gonzalez, I was like, ugh. Like I really felt like Mariaga would have been the guy here, but nope, it's Joey Gonzalez there. So he, like I said, he's there. He'll put himself back into the rankings there as he's put at what number 11 in the WBO rankings at this particular point. So we'll see how it works out for him in his next fight there. So that's what you have there with Joet Gonzalez. Um, uh, I'm trying to see here if I could, lock down the guest here as actually there's another person that may be interested in getting into the line. So what I'm doing here at this point is, um, making the situation there available for the guests to call in, and then we'll have the segments out there for the other topics that have been talked about over the course of this week. So, trying to secure this one guest in. So, and then once I get that, then we'll see how we could work out the next part of this particular podcast. So let's see here. So yeah, I'm waiting on them to come on. But in reference to like I said, you had that card that was through Top Rank with Joey Gonzalez getting the win over Miguel Mariaga and Gedizis Kavaliauskas stopping Michael Zuzki there in the main event of that one. Like I said, with Kavaliauskas, I mean, he'll still be out there as far as like a contender of sorts there in the welterweight division, but you'll have to see what the the other openings would be for him. While you still have the WBO champ there, Terrence Crawford, and with the Terrence Crawford there, WBO, Manny Pacquiao, WBA, and the unified champion Errol Spence Jr. We'll see where Kavaliauskas has himself positioned in the rankings. You do, also, have him in not only the WBO rankings, but it's in the WBC as well. So that's going to be something to watch as far as like if they're going to try to put Kavaliauskas in a position for one of those other major titles there. So that's what you have there in that instance. Also in action was Anthony Yarde, former light heavyweight title contender, who lost to Sergey Kovalev before Sergey Kovalev took on Canelo Alvarez, and here you have Anthony Yarde going up against Dex Spellman, who was 16-4. But one of the interesting things about Anthony Yarde is before he had this fight with Dex Spellman, there was a fight that he had, I guess in Spain, Madrid, Spain, against Diego Jair Ramirez, and Ramirez's fight record is 4 wins, 48 losses, and 3 draws. There's got to be some type of rule that's universal all around the world in every boxing organization or commission where fighters like Anthony Yarde that's fought for a world title, they can't fight those guys that just, come into the ring and be 4 wins, 40 some losses and 3 draws. Like they shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, we know what these guys are there to do. I mean, like I said, Diego Jair Ramirez was 448-3 before this fight with Anthony Yard, and in those 48 losses, he was only stopped 5 times. So you know what the deal is with that one. But even then, it shouldn't have been a way that they should have sanctioned that fight between Anthony Yard and Diego Ramirez. This is not cool at all. But back to Anthony Yard and him going up against Dick Spellman. Um, you have Anthony Yard being able to get the TKO win in the 6th round, knocking down Spellman in the 6th round before Michael Alexander stepped in at the 242 mark in the 6th round for Anthony Yards to get that KO victory. So with that being said, he has a record of 20 wins and 1 loss. 19 wins by way of knockout, and of course, you have that stoppage victory there. So, so Anthony Yard, we got to see what's next for Anthony Yard. Like he's still there in the light heavyweight division. Maybe he'll be put in a position to have one of those higher ranked fights, so to speak. Wouldn't necessarily say that he could fight the likes of Eleider Alvarez or Joe Smith, where we saw like Joe Smith Jr. get the stoppage or knockout win over Eleider Alvarez. So Joe Smith Jr. is about one fight away for fighting for a world title there. And so, after all that, then we'll see what they could have in position for Anthony Yard. You have other guys in the rankings there. You had Salamov. You have Vlasov is out there. Anthony Yard's behind all of those guys, and you also still have Sergey Kovalev in those rankings. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to position Anthony Yard to, do. Because I felt like the fight that he had against Sergey Kovalev last year was too soon for Anthony Yard. But, now after, Kovalev wins that fight against Yard and then gets knocked out by, Canelo Alvarez, you got to see what the condition is of Sergey Kovalev, You also have Gilberto Ramirez in those rankings, but we know the situation with Gilberto Ramirez and top rank. So they have to figure out like what's going to be next for Anthony Yard. I mean, Frank Warren, is usually known for having his fighters go through slow progressions, but in the case of Anthony Yard, he was able to boost him up to have a world title shot, and it just looked like he wasn't quite ready for all of that. Now, seeing if I have someone on the line here, 205 area code, Juan with us on the Boxing Source radio show.
How you doing, man?
What's going on, brother Mike, man?
Chilling, man, trying to buy a house. I'm going through the motions with these sellers, man. They trying to be on that BS.
Well, my thing is if it's like the further out of Atlanta you go, the easier you could probably get one. But the other thing is like you got all those other folks that still want to live outside the city as well. So it's kind of like almost like first come first serve or something like that out there, man. But just in here with the boxing talking till see if our guest comes in. I was talking about the action that was on in last night with Kavaliauskas getting the stoppage win against Michael Zuski, and you had the fight between Michael Mariaga and Joet Gonzalez, and Joet Gonzalez was able to get the unanimous decision win on that. So, not sure what comments you have about those fights and how the winners reflect on being a contender once again.
I don't think I saw the full fight between Mariaga and Gonzalez. I saw some of it, and it seemed like I think when I was watching, Gonzalez started to get the best out of Mariaga. Mariaga seemed, you know how people are in a competitive losing fight. It seemed like that sort of. But it seemed like once I got away from it, Gonzalez started landing more and just touching what's her name with shots. So I didn't watch the end of it. But the Kavaliauskas fight versus the Canadian guy, Luski.
Michael Zuski.
That was a pretty good fight. I mean, Zuski lost the fight, but he actually looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
The man got fast hands. For him to throw his hand, it seemed like he has power off how fast his hands get from point A to point B while swinging them, obviously. But yeah, he just had pretty fast hands. And I mean, if you wouldn't have looked at the last 2 rounds, maybe before the fight was over, you could argue that Zuski was winning the fight. He was definitely throwing his hands more. I think the one great adjustment that Kavaliauskas made was start to go to the body. You visibly could see that it affected Zuski. But shit, I don't know what they said about them scorecards, but I mean, Kavaliauskas probably mean more in the grand scheme of things, but I would say Zuski was probably more skilled than him. Just straight skill. Maybe not mental capacity. Maybe not, the game for boxing. I don't know about that, but Zuski definitely had the faster hand. Zuski landed first. Zuski landed second, and Kavaliauskas don't really move his head.
Yeah.
I think he started, doing things to start touching him. Like I said, the greatest adjustment he made was to start to go to the body. But he just really wasn't getting a lot of shots in. And if the punch stats say that they was even or something, I think it's gonna be like that Manny Pacquiao effect where you see Manny Pacquiao throw his hand one time and then they count it twice. It seemed like just throwing and landing more shots. But at some point, the body work that Kavaliauskas did affected Zuski, and then Zuski, you could tell he started to get tired because Zuski the type of guy, he goes from 0 to 60. You can tell when he in the gym, he just go hard, and then he the type of guy that you play basketball with, and then he played 2 games really, really, really hard, and then the 3rd game he man, I ain't got it no more because I'm tired. But he played them games, as hard as he can. Versus you got a person who I want to play 7 games, and they just play all games very chill So, what does it say about Kavaliauskas? I don't think Kavaliauskas even. I wouldn't say Kavaliauskas is I think he's good, but he wouldn't beat Danny Garcia. He wouldn't beat none of the top guys. So the fact that he landed all them shots on Terrence Crawford and, that 3rd round shot that they continued to show, I think he did very well. Maybe he fought above himself. Who knows? Maybe Terrence Crawford's defense is suspect, which might be the case, better the case. But, yeah, Kavaliauskas ain't no top guy. He won't beat the top tier guys. He'll beat the 2nd tier guys, but he won't beat the top tier guys. So he's a 2nd tier guy.
He reminds me of.
What that speaks.
I was who he reminds me of? Victor Posto.
Exactly. He can beat the 2nd tier guys, but he won't beat none of the top tier guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think we have a guest on the line here from the 419. Is this Coach?
Yeah, it's Coach.
Hey, doing well, Coach Darrie Riley on here with us on the Boston Source Radio Show here once again. We had him on here a few weeks before after his fighter Jared the Real Big Baby Anderson was in action, and at that particular time we were talking about Anderson having his fight against Hernandez, and that's pretty much what happened. And Jared Anderson was able to get the stoppage win. So, Coach Darrie, want to see if we could speak on that a little bit.
He basically did what the plan was. We practiced on keeping the distance, not engaging in an inside battle, unless he had to. But basically just kept him outside and stuck to the boxing and the point getting. But we said that we wanted more rounds, but I got to keep reminding him that. But if them shots come, take them. If we get him out of there early, get him out of there. But he did what the camp said to do. Just box and stay cautious, but do your more offense. Jared's an offensive fighter. Jared like to punch, so we so no problem. He did everything we said in the camp. There's a few little things that we have to work on, like keeping his hands up more so than not. Other than that, there was no problem. So I was pleased with his work.
Gotcha. Now, you're saying that he's over there working over in the Houston area right now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so keeping him.
I'll be going out there this week.
So keeping them busy there, so it might seem like they might have him set up for another fight before the end of this year.
October 3rd.
Oh man, right back at it October 3rd. Like, goodness. My goodness. Like it's like the way that they have this thing going, I'm not sure if you might be able to keep going back and forth to Vegas and Toledo. They might just have you in Vegas the rest of the year or something. That's the whole thing there. Yeah, the Toledo to Las Vegas, and then have to adjust the sleep patterns and daily routines. 3-hour shift, man. That's crazy out there. So see if I have someone briefly check in from the 813 area code. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, JJ? Hey, all right. Good. We just want to say glad to hear about what you're doing with this young prospect. It's just a beauty. Well, first of all, we all love the sport of boxing and just love that interception for the training, the discipline, all that stuff. So glad for the work that you're on. We will definitely be watching going forward. Oh, great. Thank you. Like I said, he's in Houston, and I'm leaving either Wednesday or Friday to go to Houston for a week and a half. And we're going to do a week and a half in Vegas. And we fight, like I said, we fight on the 3rd. And hopefully we can get on one of the shows on the end of August. If this one turn out to be, good fashion. We don't get hurt. So we can get it over with early. They got another show on the 17th or 31st of October. So we can get by this one pretty quick and without getting injured. Hopefully we can get on one of them.
By the end of the month?
The end of October.
Oh man. Right. Yeah. So this looks like they want to just keep them back busy and keep them active. So yeah, if you have that thing there October, the beginning of October, then yeah, just get right back in the gym for a couple weeks and have another fight by the end of October.
He's pretty much for it. And so far, so good. We haven't had any very major injuries or
right.
been hurt or anything of that nature. So that's been a good thing. Like I was telling you, the competition will get stiffer and stiffer. So
yep.
We're ready for it. We prepared for it.
Yep.
So far, so good.
Yeah, he's been very successful up to this particular point, and like you said, keeping them active is good there on that part. So with that being said, how is it having those preparations, whether you got to train in Toledo or in Houston? I mean, yeah.
Because that's where the work at, and that's where the manager is at.
Okay.
It's hard getting some spine in our area in the Midwest. Got some, Detroit. Trying to get some different looks. So Houston and Vegas offers us, some stiff workout. So, but that's where they want him at. I think that's where he want to be in Houston. So I got to prepare myself to either move out there or visit often.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit of an adjustment if that happens.
Right. Like I said, the spine sessions, man, it's hard getting spine for this kid now. Don't nobody wanna mix it up if they're getting paid now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we at.
Gotcha. Now I'm gonna see if I could add in caller here from the 646 area code, the apparent president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, Mr. Matthew Brown. Are you here with Coach Darrie Riley?
I thought you were talking about the guy Russell situation. I was ready to fire off some hot takes. But on Big Baby Anderson, I heard you say that he's gonna move to get better sparring. Would that sparring include guys like John Brooks? I know he's based out of Houston also. So what fighters are you out there looking to get him work with?
Anybody that it don't matter. We sparred John off FA a few times, but that was it. Randy Shields, I don't know. We asked for sparring. We in contact most everybody that we could. I mean, I don't do the contacts, but they let me know, who they could talk to or who's a possibility we can get some work at. But we ask for anybody. It don't matter. Wilder, Darrie,
you guys still looking fast track, Jared?
Say that again.
Still looking to fast track him?
To fast track him.
Yeah, because last time you were on the show, you were talking about how you guys are looking to fight contenders sooner rather than later. Is that still the plan, or is him going?
That's not left up to me. I mean, however they contact me when they make a decision or ask me what they think about whoever, right? I think that's left up to Leonard
or K Coronas. I think they set up the spine and the bouts. But I'm okay with any of it because, like I said, I've been doing my homework on the heavyweights, and by what I see from the guys I done watched, I think we have a pretty good chance. I mean, we get some good work. Now, as far as fighting, like I said, we only get scheduled for 6 rounds. However, we train for 10 and 12 right now. We train hard for 10 and 12 rounds. So once we get there, I mean, we're trying to get 8 or 10 now, I guess, I hope. Because we train for that. We train hard for that, the 10 and 12 rounds. But as far as the competition, I see some competition out there. But
anybody you want to name?
I know we work with Joseph Parker. We work with FA. We work with Tyson Furry. We work with I don't know if it's Aquito or I ain't for sure. But there's a couple other guys I don't know his name. I got.
Or Fast Frez Kendo? What's the name of Frez Kendo?
You know, these managers, they got these heavyweights all locked up. I don't know. I don't get into that. I just know that they tell me, you know, what not. Well, Jerry can't get no work. We ask this guy for work. They probably ask these guys for work. We ask for, you know, it's hard. It's rough.
Oh, that's some interesting names. Yeah, that's some interesting names that you said there. That's some interesting names that you said there. That could be possible opponents for Jared Anderson here real soon.
I don't know. I just updated. Guys with 10 and 0, 15, 20 fights, and like something like that. Any of them guys, it don't matter. I think I'm confident in what this kid is preparing himself for. What they mentioned something to take him or talk him or take
Carlos Takam.
whoever that.
Yeah, Carlos Takam. You know, he was former world title contender, so he had that win against Jerry Forrest about last month. So, you know, that's a guy that's fairly high up there in the heavyweight rankings. True.
Right now. I mean, like I said, we haven't been scheduled. Most we've been scheduled for is 6, and we haven't got to 6 rounds yet.
Yeah.
We haven't even made it to 6.
Right.
Like I said, we trained for it for more rounds. So I think we're doing a pretty good job preparing him and keeping him focused.
Yeah, but I'd like to, see if they do actually pit, Jared Anderson up with one of those guys. Because, like I said, Top Rank does have a lot of heavyweight fighters in their roster, and you did name a few of them that were there. That's included. So when you say like he could be fast tracked, that could be the case with the heavyweights that Top Rank has. So you just got to be aware and be on the lookout for one of those fights coming up.
Who they try to find for him, but like contact me when they do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So
Now, I think they had yeah. No, I was about to ask a question in reference to I think it was someone else from Toledo that was on that card, and DeAndre Ware. I think it was going up against Steven Nelson. So, any thoughts on what happened there?
I went in this camp. I don't know. I started DeAndre Ware, and part ways 2 years back, and but I thought he could beat the Nelson guy, but like I said, I went into camp with him.
Yeah,
it seemed like I didn't see it, and then like I said, I didn't see the first 4 rounds. But Jared had just fought,
right,
and we were still back there doing the thing with him. By the time we got finished, it was in the 4th round. I didn't get to see it, and I still haven't watched the fight. So, but I seen the last rounds. That I said as soon as I walked in the room where the TV was at, I said, "Dang, he looked like he hurt." And that was in the 4th round.
Right.
But I didn't see. So I don't know. I know he called me yesterday. Friday or Saturday he called me. And he asked me, he said, "Man, I think I need to make some changes. I need your help, And I always told him, I said, "Man, anytime you need me, I got you." But he said, "No, I need you." I didn't know he was telling me that he was removing his other trainer and taking his place now. I didn't know that until his trainer called me, Lamar, and said, Dre's moving me out and bringing you in. I said, "No, I didn't know. I didn't know it was like that. I just thought he needed my help." But anyway, I don't know. I don't know if he over-conditioned or left his fight in the gym or on the road. I don't know. But like I said, when I saw the fight, the 4th, 5th round, he was getting touched and he was like, "What?" So
yeah.
I talked to him, and he told me there's a lot of stuff going on. And so we get past that. That's over with. We get past that. Let's move on to the next one. So
gotcha.
So I'll probably be touching him for his next fight if there's one.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll have to see, what happens with that in DeAndre Ware. But you're doing your thing there with Jared, the real big baby Anderson, and we'll be seeing what the details is of his next fight, like you said, in early October. And if he gets through that, then we probably be put in a position for another fight at the end of October. So we'll be looking forward to that. But just thankful to have you on here for this particular podcast, and then we'll see if I get in touch with you later about more news with Jared Anderson.
All right, great. Like I said, I asked him if he could make it on this podcast tonight. He said he wasn't going to be available at 7:30, so I texted him information anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So he can call, talk to you, and set up something for him to get on the cast.
Gotcha. So we'll be looking forward to that, and maybe we could just contact next time to see if we can schedule him to come on so that we'll be ready for it, and we'll have y'all on the show. All right, no problem there. So we got that was our coach Darrie Riley. Thankful for him to be on for this segment to talk about what's been going on with Jared Anderson, among other things. So we'll see if we can have him back with Jared Anderson at a later time that we could schedule there. But you had this stuff that was going on this week, in the boxing circles. But you also had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And yeah, man, we got something to say about this thing between Mr. Gary Russell Jr. and Devin Haney. And I know that we have the host of the Rumor Report on with us right now, but in this case, it doesn't really seem like all of these are rumors because we were pretty much on there firsthand talking with Gary Russell Jr., talking with Bill Haney, and seeing that, like they were so close to making a fight. But, here we go. Once Gary went on IG talking about, they don't have a network secured. Oh, that pretty much set it all up right there. That set it all up. And my goodness, man. Man, this doesn't look good for Devin Haney, man. I'm sorry. It just doesn't look good for Devin Haney. But Matt, what can you say about this here so far? Okay.
When it just dawned on me, Julius Gamboa in February of 2019 signed a 3-fight deal with PBC. His first fight was with Rocky Martinez. His second fight, as we know, was with Tank Davis. That's only 2 fights. He's still under contract with PBC.
Whoa. Yeah, man. Because, hey, something ain't right. Something ain't smelling right. People run the buck led astray. Oh no! Yep.
Or Shoshiro, or Victor
Kuleshov. Yeah, Kotochikov.
He ain't fighting nobody. I'm telling you, no. He's not fighting nobody. Devin Haney is full of shit, and Bill Haney full of shit. Why Bill Haney was talking about Baltimore and DC like they're the same fucking city?
Yo, that's what he said. Oh, yo. Oh. Boy, he should know the difference. He certainly should know the difference. But hey, in DC. Yep. Oh man, because it is the whole thing that I don't understand with Haney, right? So, at least from a business standpoint, think about what's happened over the past 12 months with Devin Haney, or I could pretty much say 15, 16 months. So you put in Haney as replacement main event for a fight card that was supposed to have Alexander Usyk, and with that, you kind of stick him in, MGM National Harbor, and was there like a lot of people for that in there for that? No. So he has that fight, knocks out, Antonio Moran, and then has the whole thing with the WBC going on. So he was put in a position to be a part of a tournament. That gets basically scrapped. Then he gets put in a position to fight for the vacant WBC title. And WBC said, no, no, no. And then if he couldn't even see what was happening there, then after this whole thing with getting that interim WBC title and he still isn't, come on, man. Like, why do you think he's been called the email champ? Like, that's not good. That's not a good look. Yeah, and the funny thing about what you said though with Yuriorkis Gamboa, like, shoot, the number one contender Javier Fortuna is with PBC as well, right? Uh huh. And, and I'm telling you, and it's yeah, we probably could. I mean, why not? Either what would be the funniest thing ever is if we had Gary Russell Jr. versus Gamboa. Oh no. That would be yeah, but that would be the funniest thing there, man. It would be funny, man. But yeah, Gary, I mean, Devin is, not looking all too good. It's like, Devin was saying one thing and Bill was saying a whole nother thing. And like when I heard what Gary Russell Jr. said on the IG about them not having a secure network, I'm like, how do you not have a secured network for a fight of this magnitude when Gary could fight just about anybody on, through PBC and they'll have a network slot for him? Like you. Maybe in America. Maybe there won't be a DAZN USA. Huh? Oh, come on. Whatever. You're American, but you don't want to make America great again. Oh boy, but yeah, it's Devin Haney. Yeah, it ain't looking all too. It ain't looking all too good there for Haney, man. In the eyes of the boxing circles, because like, before all of this, we kind of knew, or we kind of like had an idea that Haney was going to at least fight Gamboa in the first place. So
yeah,
I think with that, you basically had the whole thing about, trying to do something with PR, saying like, okay, people aren't interested in, Haney fighting Gamboa, so we need somebody else that might, bring more interest to it. And so I guess they, brought up the thing there with Gary Russell Jr. to, hype up some interest, and we see how much interest that it did get. And I'm like, that would have been the best fight that could have been made for Devin Haney, at this particular juncture, because everybody else at that point was, kind of booked up. I mean, you had the whole thing with Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, which is not for the undisputed title, as some may want to say. You had the thing with Golden Boy, who I think is going out of business, when he's trying to have Javier Fortuna against Jorge Linares. So, hey, with that being said, like, how is it that? And then the WBC ordered that thing there with Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia. So you take out all of those top contenders. Who was left there for? Who was left there for Haney to fight? I'm like,
Yeah.
Nobody was out there, man.
If that was the Gamboa, nobody would watch.
Right.
Nobody. Eddie Hearn is saying that he pegged November 7th for the date. That's going to be the same day as Miguel Burchell versus Oscar Valdez. If Devin Haney fights Gamboa, I will be watching Burchell versus Valdez. I will not be watching Devin Haney.
No, if Devin Haney allows himself to be put in a fight against Yuriorkis Gamboa on November 7th, going up against Valdez versus Burchell, then I'm sorry, that's on him, because you've been knocking on the door in opportunities that, people, who are buying into you feel like you should get. And it gets keep taken away from you. So what does that look like?
Did it the right way. He's his own promoter, and this shit with Matchroom is a partnership. It's not a partnership because he has to wait on Eddie and his own to make any move. So to me, these guys pretended like they had all this control over their career. This is a partnership that we're entering into. We still own all this. We still call the shots. But yet, you send the contract and you don't even know if your fucking network or Eddie Hearn approved of it. Come on, man. This is a complete shit show. And I think it's time Devin Haney put his career in the hands of some real boxing people.
Well, according to him, his dad is real boxing people in that particular sense.
Sorry.
Oh no. Oh man. Like that's just crazy. How they had this whole thing handled. And we kind of like seeing all this stuff, and then when I received that email on Friday from Matchroom, I was like, man, here we go, and the thing about it is like, we know that Jerry Russell Jr. wanted to fight. He made that phone calls. He was making phone calls to make that shake. So I was like, I should have known when they had that. We still had that thing with Gamble in the bag, but like he said, maybe they could just say, "Hey, Gamble is not quite ready, so you're gonna have to face Francisco Patera or Victor Kotajikov or Shinichiro Yoshino." Like, how would it look like if he ended up facing one of those guys, man? He can't try to spin it either. He can't try to spin it, so it's not looking like all too good there. But what about your boy El Campeon having to switch up lawyers a bit so that he could address these defendants in the proper procedure so that he could get Golden Boy out of business, because that's what the goal is, get them out of business.
Right? But here's what people are not taking into consideration. We don't know what the intent of Canelo's lawyers were. Canelo's lawyer could just be fishing for information to see who are the people that Golden Boy has the contracts with. Because if you look at the Zone USA, the Zone Media Inc., all the people that was named in the lawsuit, there are no actual people attached to that LLC. And Delaware, where they got the LLC from, does not disclose who the LLC is registered to. Mm-hmm. So what I think Canelo's team was really doing was trying to get them to basically show their hand who runs the LLC so that they can properly sue them. So I think what's really going to happen is Canelo obviously is going to amend the lawsuit. And what's going to happen is I think the Zone is going to end up settling before it reaches the discovery phase. And I'm going to tell you why. The Zone, last year, when Canelo fought Sergey Kovalev, they sued a bunch of bars for quote-unquote illegally showing the fight, right? They dismissed those cases themselves once it entered the discovery phase, and they had to reveal who was behind the LLCs. So I think the Zone doesn't want to reveal who's really pulling the strings, and I think they're going to end up trying to settle this before it gets to the discovery phase.
Oh, well, that's an interesting take on that one. Usually with corporations and LLCs, they don't initially, disclose who's, over them, as long as they have it, confidential and all that type of stuff. So, Canelo has to, go back to the drawing board and then see if he could get, address those people, directly. But all I know is he should directly sue Eric Gomez, directly sue Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah. And directly sue anyone, anyone there that's involved with that type of stuff, so they could put Golden Boy out of business. Because, like, for DAZN or Skipper or whatever it is to come up with that type of deal, where it's 350, million, there, where you put up a budget of 70, that's about 70 million per year, on average 2 fights a year. And then everyone else on that Golden Boy stable doesn't even get, not even 1/10 of that total for the total budget. So I'm like, you know what? If Canelo leaves, and that just puts, Golden Boy out of business, man, because they ain't even paying them other fighters anyway,
If Golden Boy does not deliver 2 Canelo fights per year, that it invalidates the side deal that they have, where they have the $18 million a year budget to make fights for all the other fighters. So if Canelo sits, everybody sits. So I don't know why everyone was celebrating as if this was some great thing. Oh, Canelo's finally going to get what's coming to him. No, because Canelo has his contract, and Canelo is working his contract as he signed it. Whatever happened with Golden Boy and DAZN, that's not Canelo's business.
Right.
Canelo is only obligated to work his contract. So all these other fighters are going to sit. Canelo's not going to sit at all. Because if you look at what he did, he asked the judge in the meantime, while we go through these legal proceedings, can I pursue fights with other promoters and other networks? And most likely, the judge is going to grant that if the contract that Golden Boy has with the Zone does not match up with the contract that Canelo has with Golden Boy.
Well, if that doesn't match, then they could pretty much throw out the whole contract, and then Canelo wouldn't be obligated to either Golden Boy or the Zone. You know, good, but I mean, my thing is, like, I don't think Canelo really talked with anyone on the Zone before the contract was signed. I think that deal between Zone and Golden Boy was pretty much just between them two, and Golden Boy just relayed the details over to Canelo, and Canelo was like, "Viva Mexico," or whatever it is, more money, mucho dinero, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So after all that, it was still like Canelo still wanted to be Canelo as far as like, fighting all the top guys and everything like that. So that's why I feel like, the clash between him and Golden Boy is still because he's not getting the fights that he necessarily wants to get. And Golden Boy's not doing what he needs to do in order to get those fights.
Yeah, apparently he told Golden Boy that you guys don't want to pay for my fight. It's your job as my promoter to go seek out another network. And Golden Boy was saying, "Yeah, we'll get back to you," and he hasn't heard from them since.
He's like, well, yeah, that's because Golden Boy doesn't want to say, yeah, well, you see, we have this little thing going on with the Zone, so any fight that we do make has to go through the Zone. So that kind of muddles things a little bit, but that also, has me interested in, like, remember the whole thing with Golden Boy or Oscar supposedly saying that he sent an offer to Jamal Charlo. Remember that? And I don't think it ever happened, man, because you can't be talking about that when everyone's assets are basically frozen when it comes to this whole network thing. And so, yeah, I don't think he, was able to, put out the offers, man, not at all. I don't think he has it. You know what? I don't think, Golden Boy, if Golden Boy didn't make that type of deal with the Zone, Golden Boy would have been out of business by now. I feel like that would have been the case. That was the ultimate bailout for Golden Boy Promotions, being able to pull that deal with the Zone. If they didn't do that with Canelo, yeah, it would have been a wrap for him. It would have been a wrap for him. Either that or they'd be, at the same level of a main events or, something like that. Because it's not like they're pushing out other talent anyway, other than who? Virgil Ortiz? Yeah, he won't. He won't. And we already know about the other popular fighter there, Ryan Garcia, is talking about, oh man, this is crazy. Who wants millions of dollars for a fight? $1 million for what?
Oscar De La Hoya said, hopefully this is going to be the start of us having dialogue. Listen, Canelo's done talking. He wants to get in the ring, and he wants to get paid what you said you were going to pay him. That's it.
Yep. That's basically what the deal is. And right now, Golden Boy and coming through on that deal. So It's a mess, man. It's a mess. It's a mess. Um. Oh, here's the the other thing that I wanted to touch on was something that happened earlier today. But apparently, that thing that happened earlier today was kind of scrubbed out or scrapped out or something like that. Has to deal with. Was it? It It was a hoax. Someone got hacked.
Oh, um, on this podcast.
Okay.
A parody website that is known for fooling people constantly. They changed their Twitter handle temporarily to match a certain boxes, and then they put a spoof post up there, and then deleted it a half hour later. But if you follow the link that I sent you, it goes right to their page, so you'll know who it is I'm talking about.
Oh man, hold on. Hold on. Yeah. Oh man, this better not be the one that I think it is, man. Because man, man, you know. Hold on, I got the Twitter app. Hold on. Dang, I didn't see if that thing would go through, but um, it must be like one of them whatchamacallit things. Uh, oh man, can't even do it.
I just check your WhatsApp.
All right, man. Uh, oh man, shit! Come on, damn motherfuckers! Oh man, I can't believe this. Oh man, that's nuts, man. Oh, it's like dang, man. So that's who came up with that stuff. That was crazy, that man. But they still like have something going down with the thing with Deontay Wilder. Apparently Marcellus Wilder may have something or
Nobody wants to hear from myself. I'm just waiting for December. Okay, Bob Allen said December 19th, Raider Stadium, 10 to 15,000 fans will be allowed. That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, if it's 10 to 15,000 fans that will be allowed, I wonder if they're going to have 10 to 15 media people allowed on it or whatever it is. Who knows? But yeah, they do definitely want to have an attendance for this particular bout and this particular fight card. So that'll be something to kind of like wait for in this instance. To see what happens. I mean, we already see like in a few of these football games, they've had about 12 to 13,000, 14,000 or so fans in the stands for those games. So and this is September. So wait until December to see how that's going to work out there for them. So
if you had to guess, would you guess that the undercard would be sorry or good? If you had to guess.
Oh, come on. It's going to be sorry. They ain't got no money.
Yeah.
I know.
Yep, everything is pretty much on the main event, man. Unless if they could get Emmanuel Navarrete again.
$75 for just to watch the main fight, you know. I know Deontay Wilder better fucking
I don't care if they charge $1,000. I will not miss Deontay Wilder's next fight. Okay, I don't care about the undercard. They should just start the main event as soon as pay-per-view starts. All right? I need to see Wilder back in the ring, and I need to see Wilder holding up the title.
I'm saying he better fucking win. They check all the cheating at the door, and in doing that, he makes sure he ain't too wound up or too like ready to go or like too like just pacing and stuff.
Pacing back and forth.
Go at it like it's a regular fucking day. What you said?
Yeah, like pacing back and forth for the fight or whatever it is. Like he don't need to be doing all that. You know, just chill out and, you know, be patient and, you know, let things come to him. They're in preparation for this fight. So, but I'm kind of like looking forward to it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's going to be something there, man. Next week, y'all, we know what's going down next week. The card at the Mohegan Sun Casino. You got main event Eric Lubin versus Terrell Garcia and Kobe Soldier Beatty in action against Tuksat Nyambayar in a real pivotal bout there. And also you got Jose Pedraza versus Javier Molina in a fight there at the Bubble in Las Vegas. So it's gonna be a very busy weekend there. Damn, ESPN Plus and F.A. Jogba is going to be on that fight card with against Jonathan Rice. So that's
guys that we knew, 6 straight fights, guys that we knew. So fighting someone who I have no clue who this guy is. I have no clue this guy's opponents that he fought. But what is going on here?
Okay.
A guy was going to be a caution every tale. I'm saying it first, and I'm saying it right now. I'm telling you right now, the only reason why he signed with Jay Prince is because Jay Prince probably gave him an advance. He ain't had no fight scheduled. He probably needed money. He's going to get caught in one of these horrible slave contracts. Jay Prince is going to get him caught in that Megan Thee Stallion contract where he's making shit off his own fight. I'm telling you that right now. There was no reason for this guy to leave the PBC universe. And he is going to regret it greatly. And no one's going to be there to save him.
Man, this guy, Jonathan Rice, he lost by TKO to Dempsey McKean in March.
Cool.
Exactly. And then the previous 5 out of the last 6 fights that he had were held in Tijuana, Mexico. Woo-hoo.
Stop playing.
Listen,
Stop.
When you have opponents named Alejandro Garduno, Misael Sanchez, and Christian Mariscal, he was fighting in Mexico. So
I didn't even know Mexico did that big.
We talking like the Jogba ain't one punch away from being Seth Mitchell.
Hey.
Ooh.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Ooh.
or one old school dog away from being Seth Mitchell.
Yo,
because if he gets in there with somebody who throw their fucking hands, if they're not to your point, man, like going against your point, if they're not walking him with people this slow, he gonna be in trouble. He needs these type of people to where he can be around
with PBC. He can be matched carefully with names that we kind of sort of know.
Shoot, they just got Alawala in, man. It's like they basically swapped.
Exactly. This Jonathan Banks guy, in his last fight, he weighed 283 pounds.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even see that. I wasn't signed in. He's 6'5". Yo. Yeah, hey, he was 200. Wait, this is crazy. So in 2019, how the hell? Wait, nah. So in May 2019, right? He fights somebody and he's at 256 and he loses by knockout. Not even 6 weeks later, he was up to 284.5 pounds. Hey, yo, they're gonna have him showing up against a guy that's like, oh man, there was some dude that that. Oh, I don't know. Oh man, oh man, that's
You telling me you would see if you got knocked out on national TV?
Yo, I can't wait to get away.
Yo, so he might come in like Don Hainsworth, man. Don Hainsworth, yo, he was there against Guido Vianello, and wait, he was. Yo, check this out. He was 294 pounds in that fight against Guido Vianello, right? How about 2 months later, he has another fight and he's 296 pounds? Oh, oh man. Yo.
I would have said that this guy comes in 300.
He might come in 300 pounds, man. Oh, they probably gonna put it. Yo, they gonna put him in a showcase fight. They giving him a layup, man.
There's no doubt in my mind he's coming in 300 pounds.
Man.
Him against F.A. Joppa, if he got heavy hands and land big shot, at least one big shot that F.A. Joppa give away.
You don't have that again, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Like this
dude is 13-5.
Yep.
With 9 knockouts.
Uh-huh.
The guys that he knocked out, one guy was 13-3, one guy was 12-12, one guy was 2-13 EU, one guy was 2-10, one guy was 3-3.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is gonna be a walkover. This is gonna be a walkover, man. Hey. It's gonna be a straight up walkover.
Shout out to Jay.
Oh my God. That's craziness, man. Oh, but yo.
This dude looked like he was about to die by the 3rd round.
Oh no. How is this fight sanctioned, man? Yo, how do you
Australia, man?
see? Oh boy. It's crazy, man. Oh, that's just bad. It's bad, man. But at least so you don't have that, and then the next week, man, we gonna be packed that next week over, as we'll be looking forward to September 26th You got fights upon fights, man. Oh, it's gonna be a sport. And are we gonna finally have Daughter Coach versus Brightest? Are we gonna finally have that fight on the 26th? Oh man. Hey, Mike, what you were saying?
What's on the 26th?
You got that? Come on, man.
I knew Matt was gonna say it. I don't feel like looking shit up to be real.
Come on, man. You got the Charlo doubleheader, man. You're gonna be paying $74.95. You're paying $74.95 for that pay-per-view doubleheader, man. Yeah, man. And Daniel Roman versus Juan Carlos Payano. You got Luis Neri. You got Luis Neri in action, man. Against Alan. Yeah. So I mean, this is gonna be a packed showcase, man. You know.
You have a problem? I'm trying to get $10 pay-per-views. How much would you expect them to cost? $75 about $24.99. Yeah. Hang on. I want to pay.
Oh, come on. Oh, nah, man. That wasn't going to happen. I know. $24.99 for something like this? You know how many? Wait, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 world championship fights. All right. Jamal Charlo versus Derevianchenko, WBC middleweight championship. Jamel Charlo, Jason Rosario, unified super welterweight title fight. Daniel Roman versus Juan Carlos Payano, former world champion Roman Payano. So you got that. You got Brandon Figueroa versus Damian Vasquez. That's for a super bantamweight title. And you got Neri versus Alameda. That's for a super bantamweight title. And you got John Rio Casimiro versus Duke Micah for a bantamweight title. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 world title fights, and then that Roman Payano fight. That's gonna be a good scrap. Yeah. So yeah, you have that. It's stacked.
Mike cheap, man. Mike is cheap. I'm telling you.
Oh no. Nah, man. Nah.
Cheap, man.
Nah.
Cheap.
Thank you, JR, for protecting me in this.
They don't want you to lock up the wallet for this one, man. This is gonna be, first of all, on paper, this is the best card this year, no doubt.
So I can pay $75 just because relatively it's the best fucking card of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to see Charlo versus Derevianchenko?
I'm not saying they are good fights, but goddamn, $75 fucking dollars.
You ain't got no fun.
To see fights I suppose they saw all throughout the fucking year.
You ain't got no fun.
You know what?
You ain't got no friends?
I ain't got no friends I'm finna let come in my house. You know You know this will be $5, right? You know this will be $5, right?
Oh, yeah, that's classic, son. Oh man, Yo, that could be the shows. Oh man. Oh, yo, that got me, man. Hey, baby. Hey, did baby got to do what I did earlier this year, man? Hit a see if movie theater's gonna have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm paying 75. I ain't like, or I'm gonna do a match. He said he's gonna do whatever card. Last time he said something about card.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, Mike gonna be like good Bob.
Them dirty red dogs done hit the door. And Mike in the area too. So hey, you gotta keep an eye out, boy. Oh man. Hey, yeah.
But
Yep.
that's gonna be a decent card. I was looking at that card too. They got that kid that Julio Cesar Martinez sent to hell. The ugly British kid.
Charlie Edwards. Yeah.
He's gonna be on that card, so that'll be decent. And you know what's good about this? Those cards are gonna be in the early afternoon, and then as soon as they finish, you're going right into the Charlo cards. Because the Charlo cards start at
7:30. Yeah, 7:10 whatnot. So yeah, that's you talk about a full day of boxing. That's gonna be a full day of boxing right there. You know, so that's gonna be I can't wait for that one. That's like how they talk about the whole thing. We're having a day full of football. Well, we're gonna have a day full of boxing there. So that's that's what I'm looking at forward to right there with those fight cards, man. So September 26th, man.
This card on Saturday.
Hey, yeah, man. They said you got Erickson Lubin and Garcia and Kobe Soldier Breedy, man. He had the interview there with him and Coach Floyd Seymour. They're gonna be really prepared for that particular thing. They should be on there pretty much final preparations to head up to Connecticut. So you got that, and you got Boots against Juan Carlos Abreu in that card too. So we're gonna see Boots out there on Showtime, man. Abreu's probably gonna give him some work, a little bit of work though. I feel like he's gonna give him some work, but not anything to like really put Boots in trouble though. All right.
All right, then.
All right, Mike.
So yeah, Abreu's gonna. I say Abreu's gonna give him a little bit of work, man.
He's never been stopped before.
Yep, that's the thing, man. Never been stopped. So I don't know what Mike. Wait, did they say like how many? Oh, yeah, 10 rounder there. So he'll probably get some work for 10 rounds here. But if he gets an early stoppage, if Boost gets an early stoppage though, that could give him some some serious momentum, man.
Hey, he should go for the early stoppage.
Yeah, he should.
Because that would be, sometimes when you're fighting someone who's not really that highly touted, you just got to get him out of there. Like when Spence was on the come up and he was knocking out guys like Bundu and Algieri, guys that would never stop before, but you would say they're upper echelon fighters.
Right.
That really was impressive. So Boots got to do the same thing, man. He's been chirping about Spencer Crawford already. Well, show us something impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you want to, get them on, put them on notice, then have a very impressive performance there against um Abreu and take them out early. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the thing on that one is if Enos can be very impressive in that particular bout, and then we just had that fight, Turk Sutton Yambaya versus Kobe Breedy, man, and that's the one that we're gonna be looking forward to see if Breedy could handle that test there against against Turk Sutton Yambaya. So looking forward to that, and then the whole thing with Eric Salubin and Terrell Garcia to like put themselves in a closer spot to fight for a world title, man. I think that's going to be an interesting bout. Huh? Well, I don't know if Garcia's has that type of approach, but maybe he could catch. Right.
His fight with Laura literally had people
walking out the door.
He drew with Trout, and Trout is he's a great guy, but he's kind of passive right now. So it's like, when are we gonna be impressed by this guy? He's been a pro for what, since 2012? I want to say 8 years.
Yeah.
And never once been impressed by him. So he needs to show something.
Right. Yeah, and that is going to be tough for him to kind of like be impressive against a guy like against his fight there going up against Erickson Lubin, because Lubin has that type of style where he could pretty much take out his opponents, man. I mean, did have 16 KOs with his 22 wins. So, and they've been all impressive knockouts that he's had. He just had that one thing there against Jermell Charlo, and that's pretty much it. So after that, he's had himself a string of wins to get back into it, and want to get himself in a spot to fight for a world title once again. So Garcia better be on his guard. Yep.
Now we know that Jermell Charlo sent him straight to hell when they fought. He fought. I'm not going to say great competition. He fought
right.
a couple okay guys since then.
Right.
Does he need to be impressive for you to feel like he's all the way back, or does he just need to win?
I do think he needs to be impressive in a sense, because I don't. For me, I don't really rate Garcia very highly. He's kind of like up there in the rankings, but I don't really rate him very highly. I think there's like a significant difference between Garcia and other fighters that either have a world title or held a world title. So talk about Charlo, you talk about J-Rock. Right. And when you have these other guys that you can kind of think about and be like, I definitely favor them over Garcia, then that just shows where, the level that Garcia is at this particular point. So if Lubin wants to, get himself to say that he could be a potential contender against maybe among the top 5 in that division, then he has to take out Terrell Garcia in this sense. So, that's how I got out of that, man. Trying to see what else was around the boxing circles there. Like I said, looking forward to those fights next week and the following week. But Is there anything else on the radar from you other than like maybe that World Boxing Super Series bout coming up?
Later versus Romantic. I think by SummerSlam. I'm looking forward to that because Romantic is my guy. You know, I like his style. He comes to beat people up.
Yeah.
I also found it interesting that Bella is kind of back in the fold with the Repchenko. You know, he's gonna be like, I guess, the Paul Heyman for the Repchenko.
Paul Heyman.
Yeah, yeah. He's not a promoter, but they're gonna have him doing publicity for him. I don't understand. Maybe they felt bad for Lou because Lou kind of got dumped by just about everybody.
Yeah.
So maybe they felt bad for him. It's interesting. So I guess we'll see what's gonna come of that. But it's really nothing coming up. Do you care about Tony Yoka versus Duopan?
Man, Yoka gotta be able to impress and get Duopa out of there, but Duopa is hardly been knocked down in his career anyway. So that's kind of like a tough match. That's a tough little matchup to put Tony Yoka in if you're trying to build him up or make him seem impressive. Is Duhopper you really can't look that impressive against Duhoppers, even if you do get a lot of offense off on them. So, so I don't think that's a good little match for Tony Yoka. He could have tried to hold him back. Yeah, if he does like get that's the thing. Maybe he could get a stoppage in this, and you kind of see that it could get him some buzz if he's able to stop Duhopper's fairly, early. So,
I guess we'll see what comes of that.
He will fight Istvan Zili. That's where that's what his defense is going to be, man. Like it's not like he's gonna fight David Lemieux. He definitely ain't gonna fight Jacobs. Because the thing with Billy Joe Saunders is he still thinks that he may be in contention for a Canelo fight next year. So he doesn't want to put himself off of the contention of having that particular fight. So I don't see him fighting a real top guy in the super middleweight division until he has himself in the spot to fight Canelo. So yeah, I don't really think it's going to be that big of an he does, but they don't want to make that fight. That's kind of like that thing with Caleb Plant and David Benavidez. They need to make that fight, but it's like they are kind of like holding off on trying to make it. So I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, no sense, but that's what it is. They're in that super middleweight division and whatnot. So, but with that being said, that's pretty much what I got for this particular podcast. I will be back at it on next Sunday to go over the fights that will be on the 19th. And hopefully we will have Kobe or Soldier Breedy on for that particular podcast, maybe there. So I mean, they got him. Yeah, because they got him prepared, man. They got him training against Isaac Dogbay. So so I guess they got him in to do a little bit of work. So that's gonna be something there, man. To see what happens there with Kobe and Soldier Breedy. It is fight against Suk Satnayambaya next week. So that's what we're gonna. Yep, no doubt. And then hopefully he'll win and then get a world title shot. Maybe he'll get that dream of Rihanna coming down the ring with him or something. I don't know. Yep. What with that? But like I say at the end of every show, folks, the point of boxing is to hit, not get hit. Not to say the trade. On that note, have a good evening, man. I'm out.